this is going to be the first of a series of lectures that we're going to have here at Richard's Place. He's graciously opened up his restaurant to bring in health speakers, and look for it on the Raw Sacramento calendar, and I'll have it on my calendar at HealthForwardOnline.com. And see, August 1st, Kevin and Andrew Johnny will be here. They're good friends. Tuesday, August 4th, Dr. Craig Summers will be here. He'll be speaking on nutrition essential to longevity, food as medicine, cancer prevention, safe cellular phone use, electromagnetic radiation, and the mind-body connection. Saturday, September 5th, Lillian and Eddie Robinson. I think her name was Baker and she got married, but she's from rawsoul.com. She'll be speaking on the fundamentals of raw food preparation. This will be a 2-hour lecture and a demonstration with handouts, so that'll be something a little bit different. I think Richard just booked for July 11th, just in a couple of weeks, Angela Elliott from the book Alive in 5. So we'll put that on the calendar as well. And I contacted David Wolf. I think he was just out here, but we're working on that. And I talked to Philip McCluskey today, and he's interested in coming out. So if there's anybody else you guys want to see, I'm more than happy to get it planned and contact them. So let me know. And on to the introductions. I wrote a little something. You've probably heard this stuff before. Matt Monarch has been eating a 100% raw vegan diet for 11 years now. After 5 years of eating a 100% raw food diet, Matt was inspired to write his first book called Raw Spirit. In his book, Matt reflects on some of the physical challenges of going raw, along with the amazing shifts he experienced on the spiritual level with this lifestyle. 2 years later, Matt wrote his second book, Raw Success. Matt considers raw success like his Bible for the raw lifestyle. You can follow Matt each day at mattmonarch.blogspot.com. Angela Stokes. Is this your first lecture as husband and wife? Okay. Wow. So Angela Stokes Monarch. She converted to a 100% raw vegan diet 7 years ago. And she lost over 160 pounds, which I think converts to 11 stones, 6 pounds. She's kept it off for 7 years. And she is author of Raw Emotions and is a handbook for restructuring your emotional relationships with food based on the raw food lifestyle and self-development techniques. Angela has been featured on numerous media outlets such as CNN, naturalnews.com, Get Fresh magazine. She was on the cover of First for Women magazine, September 2007. Also, Purely Delicious magazine, Fox News, Sally Jessica Raphael interview, cable channel Current TV, BBC News, and many more. So welcome, Matt and Angela.
Woo! Being a raw food diet like I have, how to do this in a healthy way without being 100% raw and not taking such an extreme. So besides people are healing from degenerative diseases, why is raw food so good? What is so good about raw food? I read a lot of the books, they say enzymes, and they're alive, and these are all great things. However, the number one benefit of the 100% raw food diet is when you adhere to a 100% raw food diet, you're actually eliminating all the foods that are damaging to the body. So when you adhere to a 100% raw food diet, it's actually more important what you don't eat than what you actually eat. That's the beauty of it. I'm sure we've heard of so many diets, such as the Zone diet, the macrobiotics diet, the South Beach diet, and all these diets, they claim to get results. They say people are healing from disease, people are losing weight, and a lot of the time they actually are. And there's actually one common denominator on why all these diets succeed. They all leave certain foods out of their diets completely without any exception whatsoever. And the crazy part of it all is every single one of these diets, they eliminate the same foods. And we're going to get deep into that, so this is going to be interesting. So, I like to break down the foods into the following food groups. We've got refined sugar, processed starches, dairy, animal protein, and raw food. So if we understand that what you leave out of your diet completely, without exception, is the way to ultimate health, then we obviously want to leave out the foods that are most damaging to the body. And there are two of those food groups that are the most damaging to the body. Does anybody know what those are?
Fried sugar. Dairy and sugar. Dairy and sugar.
All of them. There's actually two tied for the top, and it is refined sugars and processed starches. I mean, from a moral standpoint, you don't want to be eating animal protein or any of these other things. But from what's the most damaging to the body is refined sugars and processed starches. And that is what every single one of these diets do. It's not rocket science. They just eliminate refined sugars and processed starches, and they create other rules inside of those, which is quite interesting. Refined sugars and processed starches, what are they? Refined sugars is pretty much any type of sugar that's been raised to a certain process temperature, such as white sugar, the standard cookies, cakes, and stuff like that. One of the most damaging foods to the body. Probably the most damaging food to the body is processed starches, which includes bread. Probably the most hardest thing to give up and the most damaging to the body. I like to recommend people to switch bread up for lettuce or salad. So if you're instead of having like an animal sandwich, have an animal salad, you can throw the animal protein inside of the salad. Not that I recommend eating animal protein because of what's happening out there, but so these are my two books. I've been on a raw food diet for 10 years now. I didn't have any health challenges. I didn't know a raw food diet existed. I was working at MTV Networks in New York City, and someone handed me this book, Become Younger by Dr. Herman Walker. And I started reading this book, and I couldn't believe what I was reading. It was actually telling me what refined sugars and processed starches were actually doing to me on a cellular level here, and how it was damaging my body, including animal protein and other things. And I read this book that night, just dumbfounded by it, and I believed it, obviously. And that night I put this book down, and the next day I went 100% raw. And that was 10 years ago, I haven't looked back. The reason why the raw diet is the best diet on the planet is because you're eliminating all the bad stuff and only keeping in the good stuff. That's the key for animal protein and other stuff like that. When Channel 3 was here, I was trying to like not be too extreme. You know what I mean? Okay. But it is true, you can heal without taking such an extreme also. Okay. For me? Right on.
One for you y uno para la esposa.
Gracias.